In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to lose weight while traveling. If you don't know who I am, my name is Noah Durling. I help corporate men lose 20 to 50 pounds without restrictive diets, without spending countless hours in the gym, so you can lose weight and keep it off forever. You're probably a busy man with a demanding career, a corporate job, or maybe even a business owner, and you're running around the state, running around the country, or possibly even running around from country to country. Gyms are impossible. Eating healthy seems like the lowest ROI thing you can do, and you're constantly living out of hotels. So I'm going to solve this for you right now. The number one thing you need to do is you need to follow diets that you can actually do while working. The number one thing you need to do is you need to not follow diets that don't work with travel. You need to do things that work for you, not against you when you're traveling. You hear it all the time, do keto, do paleo, do intermittent fasting, but none of these things actually work for corporate guys, business owners, or just generally successful, high performing men. What you need to actually do is you need to follow my framework that I developed for guys who are traveling all the time. So the first thing you need to do is you need to follow the 80-20 rule when it comes to dieting. 80%, because we are trying to make a lifestyle change, you're going to start eating more whole foods, more chicken, more red meat, eggs, fruits, vegetables, those sorts of things. That needs to become the new 80% of your diet. This still includes foods like rice, sweet potatoes, and other good healthy carb sources. We don't want to cut out any food group like with keto or paleo. We actually want to keep every single food group, right? So we want to keep protein, fat, and carbs. Then the 20% is for the foods you actually enjoy. We want this to be sustainable long term. And if there's no wiggle room for failure, when you're traveling, it's going to be impossible to always find a perfect meal, to always eat healthy, and nobody wants to do that anyway. So that's going to give you wiggle room for when you're traveling and also just for generally enjoying life. The reason we do it this way is because we actually want to create a sustainable lifestyle change. Take, for example, when your colleague brings like cookies into work, are you going to be able to say no every single time? Realistically, not. I eat cookies, I eat donuts whenever somebody brings something into an office. I'm not opposed to just living life. I do these types of things all the time. Something that's not sustainable is eating chicken, broccoli, and rice, which is what all of these teenage business coaches are going to have you do. They're going to have you follow some bodybuilder routine, which is not what you're trying to be. You're trying to be fit, you're trying to look good, you're trying to be there for your family, you're trying to perform better at work. None of these things align with the staple meal of chicken, broccoli, and rice, which is not even that good for you anyway. And so this is going to be your main mechanism for fat loss, right? You're going to be in a slight calorie deficit while following the 80-20 rule. Now, we also want to do this while eating enough protein, because if we're not eating enough protein, guess what's going to happen? We're going to lose muscle. We're not going to build muscle. And nobody just wants to look like a bag of sticks. So typically you're going to eat about 1 gram of protein per centimeter of height or per pound of lean body mass. Now, number two is, how do we incorporate this into travel? This is actually the most important question because that's what I'm answering in this video. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow the Smart Bites blueprint, which I invented for men who are looking to be able to eat out at client dinners, looking to eat at work events, looking to be able to travel and know how to lose weight while at the airport. So when you're at the airport, you're going to follow the 80-20 rule. You're going to eat 80% whole foods, 20% whatever else you wanted, while staying within your calorie limit and staying within your protein limit. And for example, some of the best places you can go to actually be able to hit these metrics and also track it reasonably well, be able to track your calories so you know exactly what you're putting into your body, is a place like Cabo or a place like Chipotle. These places allow you to pick your protein sizes, pick your portion sizes, pick your exact carb amounts, and they actually tell you the basic calculations of your meal on their website. So it's super easy to find and super customizable. You can eat whatever you need, whenever you want, and it tastes really good anyway. And if you're at a place that doesn't have nutrition info online, you can really just use an AI calculator. You can use an AI camera, and honestly, that'll spit out decent information. It's not going to be the best. It's not going to be as good as weighing your food, which some people can do if they have the time, but most people don't. Taking a picture so that you can run it through something like Cal AI typically works pretty good for somebody who's trying to lose weight and be able to track reasonably well. Now, the other part of this is delivery. So when you're out eating, you have a ton of options and tracking is super, super easy. You know, it's easy to find somewhere like a Chipotle or a Cava at really any airport, finding similar restaurants to that. When it comes to delivery, it's pretty much the same exact thing because you can find the calories online. You can customize your order through something like DoorDash, and you can get all of your meals delivered to your hotel room, wherever you're staying, to your office. That's a great way that you can stay within your calorie limit and also build muscle, lose fat, and look overall better and more confident. Now, if there's no options that you can really choose and get away with, what you're going to do is you're going to backfill your protein and your calories either in the morning or in the evening. If you know you're going to have trouble at a certain event, or you're like, yeah, this event I'm going to, this place I'm going to, I'm really not sure what the options are going to be. I don't know how good they're going to be. You can have all your protein in the morning, put your calories in the morning, and then you can just have the rest for whatever comes your way, whether it's, you know, the sandwiches or the pizza that's brought in, or maybe some, you know, foreign food. Then you're going to be all set because you already hit your protein, and your calories are going to be lower because you saved all of the carbs and fats for later. This is also going to help you stay full because if you can have your protein before, earlier in the day, you're going to feel fuller throughout the day. Or if you have it in the nighttime, you're not going to be super hungry at night because you're going to be able to have protein, which is very, very satiating, and you're going to overall feel a lot better. Now that we've gotten past the diet, the next thing to consider is, of course, the training. How am I going to train? How am I going to find a gym in every single city? That's so tedious, that takes so much time. I don't have time to find day passes. If you're truly that busy and you're that strapped for time, this one is actually easier to fix, in my opinion, than even the diet portion. The first thing you need to understand is you do not need to be training hours and hours, doing hours of cardio. What you really need is you need 30 minutes, 3 times per week. That's genuinely all it takes to actually be able to build good muscle in the gym, especially when you're a beginner and you're just starting out. That's really all the time in the world that you could possibly need. So don't fool yourself into thinking, oh, I just need hours and it's just not going to work and I just can't make it work. Don't worry about it. 30 minutes, 3 times a day total, not including drive time. And the reason I say that is because of this piece of advice that I give to everybody that I work with. You need to buy resistance bands. Resistance bands are super easy to take with you. You can take them wherever, whenever. They'll go through the airport. They can go in the back of a car. They don't even need to go in the original box. You can just cram it into your suitcase, into your luggage, and that will give you the perfect workout routine. You can do basically every single exercise with resistance bands. Now, another thing to consider too is if maybe you don't want to use resistance bands every single time, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but in case you didn't, there are also hotel gyms, right? So if you need to switch something up, or generally a program might require a bit more equipment, then a lot of hotels do actually have gyms. Not every single one, and that's why I say bring the resistance bands. But a lot of hotels do have gyms, so you can just go down the stairs, you can work out there, no problem. Now you may still be asking me, okay, but how do I work out for 30 minutes, right? I have the resistance bands, right? So no gym travel, but how do I actually work out and build muscle in 30 minutes? That doesn't make any sense. And here's exactly how you're gonna do that. Number one is you're gonna be doing compound movements. That hits multiple muscle groups at the same time. So you're gonna be overall getting a better stimulus than just doing simply isolation movements. And number two, you're gonna do techniques that actually make the workout harder so that you can train more in less amount of time. So take, for example, sets and reps, right? If you don't know what those are, a repetition is one repetition of an exercise. So if you're doing a bicep curl, that's one repetition, right? And then a set is the group of reps. And so typically what that looks like is you're actually going to lower your rest period in between your sets. So in between set one and set two, set three, set four, you might only have 15 seconds of rest. And what that does is it allows you to train harder in less amount of time because you're not waiting a minute to a minute and 30 seconds between sets. And this is also applying the 80-20 rule to training, right? There is also that extra 20% that is technically slightly better, but you're still getting 80% of the results by doing just the basic techniques that make things harder. Number two, you're gonna train till failure on every single set. You don't need to be leaving, some reps in the tank. You don't need to leave some gas in the tank because when you completely exhaust yourself, you're gonna still be creating a great stimulus. And since you're only training 3 times a week, you're definitely going to be able to recover before the next week. Most exercise and routines actually leave you more tired versus this one, which gives you more energy and it gives you more time to just overall feel better and focus on the things that you need to focus on. And then the final thing is, for example, something like an antagonist superset. It's a very complicated term, but really what it means is you're going to be working opposing muscle groups one after the other. So you do one set of bicep curls, you immediately go into tricep extensions or, an opposite muscle group. So you have your bicep, you have your tricep, and when you work the other one's not going to be tired, so you can just go straight into it. That's literally all it takes to get fit while traveling. It's genuinely super easy. Something else to consider maybe is to walk around a bit more, move a little bit more, take the elevator or take the escalator instead of the elevator, take the stairs instead of the elevator. You're already walking around a bit when you're traveling, but in general, more movement is better. But other than that, that's the biggest part of actually losing weight while traveling. It's not as difficult as people make it seem. They just don't have the right system in place that allows them to properly lose the weight and still do the things that they need to do. So if you like this video, watch another video on YouTube or check out my Instagram, Noah Derling Coach, and I have tons of content on there. Give me a follow and maybe message me with any problems you might have, and I'll be able to see if I can help you in any way. Thank you.